Good morning, students. My name is Dr. B. Suresh Babu, working as a professor in Mechanical Engineering Department, MBR College of Engineering and Technology. As a part of online classes, today my presentation is on governors. Governors is a fourth unit in Dynamics of Machinery subject. Already we have completed 3 units. Now we are going to learn fourth unit. In fourth unit, we have governors concept. So, what is a governor? What are the classifications of the governor? We are going to discuss in this class. In this governors, we are going to solve few problems, and derivations are also going to present in this one. So, if you observe this governors, the introduction of the governor is like this. What is the function of a governor? The function of a governor is to regulate the speed of an engine where there are variation in the load. So that is the basic function of a governor. What is this function? When there is a speed change is there and that variation of load has to be compensated with the speed. So for that purpose, governor is going to be used. So what is the meaning? When there is a change in the speed and there is a variation in the load. If there is a variation in the load, there is a change in the speed. So these two has to be compensated. For the better understanding, I have given a simple example. When a load of an engine increases, its speed decreases. Therefore, it is necessary to increase the supply of working fluid and vice versa. Thus, governor automatically controls the speed under varying load. I repeat once again the concept in explanation manner. Try to understand, students. For example, a scooter is moving on a bridge. So, the speed of the scooter will decreases. At one point of time, it is going to be halt. So to increase the speed, we are going to raise the accelerator. So raising of the accelerator is once again compensated with the governor. Their governor will exist. That means if a vehicle is moving, if load is increased, definitely the speed of the vehicle is going to be decreased. To compensate that decrease of speed, we have to supply energy. We have to supply fuel to the engine. The supplying of the fuel is done by the governor. The supplying of the fuel is done by governor. Like this, we are going to use the governor in controlling the speed with respect to the load that is acting on an engine. Thus, governor automatically controls the speed under varying load. Types of governors. The governor may broadly classify it into centrifugal governors and inertia governors. So what is a governor? Governor is a device which controls the speed of the engine when there is a variation in load. This is the function of a governor. I have given an example of that one. Next, types of governor. There are broadly two classifications. One is called centrifugal governors, then second one is going to be called as a inertia governors. Let us see that one. If you observe the classification of governors, centrifugal type, how many two classifications they have given? One is going to be the pendulum type, and in pendulum type we have a watt governor. Next, in loaded type, we have a dead weight governor, spring controlled governors. We have a loaded weight type, dead weight governor, spring controlled governor. In dead weight governor, we have Porter governor and Proel governor. Dead weight type, we have Porter governor, Proel governor. In port in a spring control governors, we have another four classification, that is Hartnell governor, Hartung governor, Wilson Hartnell governor, Pickering governor. Inertia governor is not included in the syllabus. but it has two types. That is inertia. Due to inertia, the governor is going to work. If you observe the architecture of these governors, every governor has its unique architecture when compared with other. Why? Because based upon its architecture, the governor can be placed in a specific purpose. I repeat once again, in all these governors, there is a unique architecture when that is compared with other governors. While you are learning each one of the governor in the coming classes, we can differentiate that one. Why this unique architecture is given? Unique architecture is given to use that governor in specific purpose. So that is the thing to remember here. So before going to this exact classification, how many types of governors are there? There are two types of governors are there broadly. One is centrifugal governors, second one is inertial governors. In centrifugal governors, there is a two classification. One is pendulum type governor, second one is a loaded type governor. In loaded type governor, we have dead weight governor, spring controlled governor. In deadweight governor, we have Porter governor, Proel governor. In this one, we are going to have a spring controlled governor. In spring controlled governor, we have another four types. One is Hartnell governor, Harton governor, Wilson Hartnell governor, Pickering governor. In deadweight governor, we have Porter governor and Proel governor. Let us first have this. What is a centrifugal governor? Before going the central governor, whatever the governor is, it is going to perform the or it is going to use in following applications. One is about the applications of this device to the steam engine has a great importance in the technology history because it was the founder of a great family of devices for the installations of automatic control. That means it is used in steam engines. Next, it was commonly used to maintain the engine speed of trucks or other vehicles. That means in automobiles we are going to use in automobiles. Exclusive they have mentioned about the trucks. Already you have discussed in the first slide only. These are used to control the speed by the variation in the load is there. It is still used in ships and trains engine. In train engines and ships, we are going to use this one. These are seen on steam engines, internal combustion engines, and variously fueled turbines. So, governors are used in steam engines, internal combustion engines, and variously fueled turbines. We can use it on AC generators to maintain the electricity supply which the load increases on it. So we can use it on AC generators to maintain the electricity supply with the load increase on it. They are used in automobiles to restrict or maintain engine RPM. They are used in automobiles to restrict or maintain engine RPM, total speed. Governors protect engine from excessive rotational speed. Governors protect engine from excessive rotational speed. We can use it on those systems where working fluid and speed of the system are main issue. So they have given a broad definition here. These can be used wherever working fluid and speed of the system are the main concentration. So overall, it can be used in steam engines, it can be used in automobiles, it can be used in internal combustion engines, it is used in ships, it is used in AC generators, it is used to control the RPM of an engine. Wherever the excess rotation is there we can able to use governor for protecting that one. In every engine, if there is a main main theme like speed should be controlled with respect to load, there we can use this governor device. So what is a governor? A device which controls the speed. When there is a variation in the load is observed, then that is going to be called as a governor. Next, so centrifugal governor. As I told, we are going to discuss about governors, that centrifugal governor and watt governors. The centrifugal governors are based on the balancing of a centrifugal force on the rotating mass on rotating balls of, okay, ball has certain mass of rotating balls for an equal and opposite radial force known as a controlling force. Centrifugal governors are based on the centrifugal force on the rotating balls for an equal and opposite radial force known as the controlling force. It consists of two balls of equal masses which are attached to the arms as shown in the figure. These balls are known as governor balls or fly balls. Here two things they have mentioned. One is called as a controlling force. Centrifugal force on the rotating balls for an equal and opposite radial force known as the controlling force. It consists of two balls of equal mass which are attached to the arms as shown in figure. These balls are known as governor balls or fly balls. What is the concept of this centrifugal governors? If you observe this, when the load on the engine increases, the engine and the governor speed decreases. This results in decrease of centrifugal force of the balls. That means decreases in the centrifugal force of the balls. Hence the ball moves inward and the sleeve moves downwards. The downward movement of the sleeve operates a throttle valve on the other end of the bell crank to increase the supply of working fluid, and thus the speed of the engine is increased. In this case, extra power output is provided to balance the increased load. So let me observe this concept. I will show with help of a diagram. When the load of the when the engine increasing, when the load is on engine, automatically the speed going to decrease. Due to decrease in speed, the balls are going to become closer. Thereby, sleeve is going to be fall down. When sleeve is going to be fall down, so observe, when the sleeve is going to be fall down here, so what happened? It ultimately affects this one. Thereby, supply of the working fluid has to be increased so that we have to maintain the constant speed. So this balls is going to become decreases. Thereby it is going to be, sleeve is going to be fall down. When sleeve is going to be coming fall down, due to this arrangement, the throttle valve is going to decrease. At this stage, to maintain the speed, we have to supply more amount of energy so that it may be fuel. Thereby, we can able to compensate the decrease in speed that happened due to load. So let's have this one. In this case, extra power output is provided to balance the increased load. Next, this is another condition. In that one, when the load on the engine decreases, first one we have increased. If decreases, the engine and the governor speed increased, which results in the increase of centrifugal of balls. Thus, the ball move outwards and the sleeve rises upwards. The ball move outwards and the sleeve rises upwards. This upward movement of the sleeve reduces the supply of working fluid. This upward movement of the sleeve reduces the supply of work, hence the speed is decreased. In this case, power output is reduced. If you observe this diagram, when the speed is increasing, what happened? The sleeve, when the bars are going to move far away from the sleeve, thereby it is going to move forward. By moving forward, due to this one, the supply of the power is going to be changed. That means supply of power increases, and once again it increases in speed. But this should not happen. Why? It has to maintain constant speed, that is mean speed. So automatically to do that one, it is going to be fall down. Thereby fuel is going to be reduced than before condition. Due to that one, we are going to decrease the speed. That means output is going to be decreased. If you observe that one, the output is going to be reduced. How it is reduced? This is reduced to the upward movement of the sleeve, reduces the supply of working fluid, and hence the speed is decreased. So this is how two conditions. One is increased condition, this is decreased condition. So if you observe centrifugal governor concept, centrifugal governor contains the following elements. It contains arms. This is arm, two arms are there. This is the spindle, which is going to be have a position to rotate. These are the fly balls having a mass is there. These are the links. This is also link. This is also link. Here four links are there. The pivot joints. This arrangement is going to be called as the sleeve. This is a bevel gearing. It is connected to output. It is connected to output. Try to understand. Bevel gearing provision is there. It is connected to the output where exactly the vehicle output can be happening. Here only the load will act. Due to this load, the speed is going to be decreased. When load is decreased, speed is going to be increased. So thereby it is going to be compensated here. This is the links, that is bell crank lever. This is the position. This is a throttle valve. This is supply of working fluid. So this is how the design of the centrifugal governor looks. The diagram looks like this. Compared with this one, different governors have different types of governors. Next. So this is a centrifugal governor. So what are the terms used in governor? There are number of terms are there based upon my explanation. If you observe, speed increasing, decreasing. So it contains maximum speed and minimum speed and mean speed. Next, when height is going to be increased, that means speed increasing, there is a change in position of the sleeve, that is called as the height. And then there is going to be change in position of this throttle valve, that means this sleeve also. By considering these variations, there are terms in the governors to understand. Let us discuss one by one. First, height of the governor. How height of the governor is measured? This is for a watt governor, you can observe. This is P position, this is ball position. So difference between P position and ball position always varies depend upon the speed of this sleeve or height of this sleeve. Speed of the sleeve varies means definitely is going to vary in the ball height. So by considering these two, H will be there. Similarly, R is also be variable parameter, that is called radius. Next, double is weight acting downwards. F is centrifugal force. T is the tension in the link. So first define height of the governor. It is the vertical distance from the center of the ball to a point where the axis of the arms intersect on the spindle axis. It is usually denoted by H. That means it is the vertical distance from the center of the ball to the point where the axis of the arms will intersect. So these are the axis of the arms intersecting on the axis. So this is going to be called as a height H, and it is represented by the letter H. Next, sleeve lift. It is the vertical distance in the centrifugal governor. The sleeve travels due to the change in equilibrium speed. That means when there is a change in equilibrium speed, then there is a sleeve height is going to be differ. This is another type of thing. This is the exact load where we are going to happen. So this is when balls are going to be increasing. Definitely there is going to be change in the sleeve position. Here the links are provided like this. Here we have a lever is there. Here we have weight is there. If more weight is there, it is going to be fall. So to increase that one, we have to increase the speed of these balls. So there we have to supply the power. So it is a vertical distance with the centrifugal governor travels due to the change in equilibrium speed. So apart from these two, we can represent another three. Let us have one by one. Height of governor is the what already I have discussed. Height of the governor is the vertical distance from the center of the ball to a point where the axis of the arms intersect on the spindle axis. Is usually denoted by H. Equilibrium speed. It is the speed at which governor balls, arms, etc. are in complete equilibrium and the sleeve does not tend to move upward or downward. That means at one point of time, balls are in a stable condition. At that stable condition, we are going to be called as a equilibrium speed. That means the tendency of the sleeve does not move upward or downwards. Mean equilibrium speed is the speed at the mean position of the balls or the sleeve. That means at equilibrium speed, we are going to be call it as a mean speed. The speed at which mean position of the balls does not change, ball or sleeve. So wherever this does not change, that is going to be called as the mean equilibrium speed. Next, maximum and minimum equilibrium speeds. The speeds at the maximum and minimum radius of rotation of the balls without tending to move either way are known as maximum and minimum speeds respectively. Try to understand the speeds at the maximum and minimum radius of rotation of the balls. If you observe, the balls are going to have a maximum radius of rotation at one point and minimum radius of rotation at points with respect to the sleeve to this position of this arm. So these arms are intersecting. Here you can represent letter R. So at one position we have a R and at one point we have another R. The minimum distance is called as the minimum speed and maximum distance is going to be called as the maximum speed. You can observe this. This is the R position. R positions vary based upon the ball position. Maximum position is called maximum speed and minimum position is going to be called as a minimum speed. Sleeve lift. It is the vertical distance which the sleeve travels due to change in equilibrium speed. What is the sleeve lift? It is the vertical distance which the sleeve travels due to change in speed. Their change in speed means sleeve will move upward. If the change in speed decreases means it will fall down. So that height is going to be called as a sleeve lift. For any type of governor, you should have a fundamental knowledge of these five terms. I repeat once again, one is called as the how to measure height of the governor. Ball to axis midhead is called height of the governor. Equilibrium speed. There is no change in sleeve position or balls upward or downward is called as a equilibrium speed. Mean equilibrium speed. The speed at which ball does not change its position or sleeve does not change in position. Maximum minimum equilibrium speeds. Maximum radius means maximum speed. Minimum radius means minimum speed. With respect to the ball position to the sleeve position. The distance between the sleeve to the ball position is going to be called as a radius of rotation. Maximum rotation means maximum speed. Minimum rotation means minimum speed. Sleeve lift. Change in sleeve position with respect to the change in speed is called as a sleeve lift. So for any type of governor, this 5 does not vary. Next, we discuss about this watt governor. So what is a watt governor? This is the basic type of governor. Let us have the terminology here. First we have a pivot position will be there. That means two arms are going to intersect here. Next, this is the spindle which is going to be rotate on an axis. This black line is going to be called as an axis of the governor. These are the balls are there, and ball is going to have a certain mass that had to be considered. So axis from pivot to ball we are going to connect with a link. That link is going to be called as a arm. How many arms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 arms are there. This is the connecting rod, or we can say links that are connected from ball to this sleeve. Here another ball is there. Balls are of equal mass on both sides. This is also a connecting rod, and this connecting rod is from ball to the sleeve. So this is how the watt governor is going to be appearing. So if watt governor positions are observed, here rest condition. Rest condition means watt governor is not performing any work, or it is at the low speed condition. At the low speed condition, we are going to have the balls very closer to the sleeve. When it is rotating, balls are going to be at the wider distance between the sleeve to this ball is wider. This is called maximum condition, we can say. This is called minimum condition. At minimum speed, balls are going closer to the sleeve. At maximum speeds, the balls are maximum distance to the sleeve to this ball. So this is where we are going to have the running this one, and this is the rest condition. So like this, we can differentiate two positions of a watt governor: minimum speed condition, maximum speed condition. In minimum speed condition, here we have defined as a rest condition. This is the fuel. You can observe this one. So fuel is supplied to control the load variation. Load is there to control the speed. We are going to use this or to increase the fuel. So this is the sleeve position. Next, let us have a watt governor. The simplest form of a centrifugal governor. It is basically a conical pendulum with links attached to a sleeve of negligible mass. This governor was used by James Watt in the steam engine. So it is introduced by James Watt. The spindle is driven by the output shaft of the prime mover. The balls are mounted at the junction of the two arms. The upper arms are connected to the spindle and lower arms are connected to the sleeve. That's what I have explained here in the diagram. Lower arms are connected to the sleeve, upper arms are connected to the pivot of the sleeve here. These are the balls, a certain mass are there of equal masses. This is a bell crank lever which is used to control the fuel supply. So the upper arms are connected to the spindle and lower arms are connected to the sleeve. When the balls are going to be rotated, there is going to change in sleeve position and change in R position. So these two positions are going to variable parameters when load is acting on the engine. A derivation is there how this variation in load can be observed with respect to speed. I repeat once again, a derivation is there how this variation in load can be observed with speed. The arms of the governors may be connected to the spindle in following three ways. The pivot P may be on the spindle axis. The pivot P may be offset from the spindle axis. The arms when produced intersect of O. The pivot B may be offset to the arms of cross section of the axis. So what is the meaning here means, if you observe this diagram, for a watt governor, see this is the position. That means we can have offset. That means we can have a small bar and we can represent it two positions here. One is here. Next one is this position. This position can be connected to a sleeve. So pivot may be offset at the arms, crosses the axis at O. Pivot may be offset from the spindle axis. Arms and produce intersect at O. Pivot may be on the spindle axis. So these are the variations. Let us see in the form of a diagrammatical manner. This is how the variation here we can observe in connecting this one. Let us have a line diagram of this one. So this is how we can observe here the parameters. This is height h, height of the sleeve. This is the sleeve position. How these are connected? First B condition is here. If you observe this one, P may be spindle axis. The pivot P may be offset from the spindle axis and arms produce when intersect at O. Pivot may be offset and arms crosses the axis at O. So this is the P is crossing O. Offset. P is the intersecting of the axis. When compared to previous slide, we can clearly observe the differences here. How it is going to be differentiating at the axis. So one is offset and one is crossing, one is intersecting. These are the three possible cases how a watt governor can be constructed. Let us have a derivation. Let m is the mass of the ball in kg, w is the weight of the ball in newtons, that is mg. T is the tension in the arm in newtons. Omega is equal to angular velocity of arm and ball about the spindle axis in radians per second. Omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. R is the radius of path of rotation of the balls in meters. So R is in meters. F is the centrifugal force acting on the balls in newtons. That is m omega square R. H is the height of the governor in meters. So by applying the momentum equation, if you observe this one, this is a force acting here, and if pivots at O, distance between perpendicular distance between this we have to calculate with respect to h. For the weight, perpendicular distance is going to be r. So you have to consider these two only, and t is intersecting. As t is intersecting, we can neglect that one. So based upon that one, Fc into h is equal to weight into r. Why? To the centrifugal force, perpendicular distance is h only. Fc is mr omega square into h. W is mg into r. So h is equal to, we can, m is going to be cancelled and r is going to be cancelled. R is going to be cancelled and h is equal to g by omega square, where g is equal to meters per second square, h is in radians per second, then h is in meters. So n is the speed in rpm, then omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. So we can able to get this h is equal to 9.81 by 2 pi n by 60. So height of the governor, the small h and capital H both are one and the same here. Here, height of the governor will depends upon the speed of the governor, that is speed that is going to be acting. So this is the derivation. If a architecture of the governor is varying, then the parameters are going to differ. So for each governor having certain each specific type of parameters, like mass will be there, R will be there, and another parameters that are included in the design. So by this, I have completed this governor concept. Before closing, let me have a summary of the class. In this one, I have first defined function of the governor. Next, classification of the governor. Function of the governor is variation in load should be compensated by the speed. There are two types of classification broadly: centrifugal classification as well as inertial governors. As the syllabus is centrifugal governor, the classification of centrifugal governor is given. Next, centrifugal governor feature we have explained. With the help of diagram, I have explained the basic type of centrifugal governor. In centrifugal governor, we have chosen pendulum type governor, that is called as a basic Watt governor. In basic Watt governor, we have designed or we have learned the design parameter of the governor. What are design parameters? Are one five parameters are there: height to be measured, equilibrium speed, sleeve height, maximum and minimum speeds, and height of the governor. So these five we have learned, that is terms in governor. Whatever the term, it is going to be common. Next one is we have gone for a derivation of this Watt governor. In derivation of Watt governor can be considered in three manners: crossing the one, intersecting one, offset. And based upon these three governors, you have derived the derivation. The derivation emphasis on which type of governor, what is the parameter. The height of the governor is compensated with the speed. So this is the Watt governor, students, and classification. Notes will be available in Google Classroom code 4FW5XCK. All are small letters. You can have questions by text form, that is cheer5@rediffmail.com. In department link also, we are going to, I have presented this theory concept of this governance. See you all, students. Take care. Bye.